Let's see. Let's see. Are we live? Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Maybe. Oh, shit. I think so. Are we live? Looks like it. GM, everyone. Give people a few seconds to roll in here. The Osmo is not working, so we're just going laptop view. What's up, brother? What's up, Justin? Good to see you. Is that a new profile pic, maybe? New profile pic for you, I think. Locked in. Let's get it. Let's flip the watch on so we can feel professional here real quick. Lock it up. Lock it in. All right, boys. Here's the thing. I have something really important that I want to talk about here today. And I just got off of our group call about it, right about it exactly an hour ago. Got off our group call. And I really wanted to share what we talked about today because I think it's really important. Some of our newer guys, there's some information going around where it's just a little confusing about what range they should set, why, and we're kind of breaking down the benefits of going that wider route, the wider range, or going too tight. Okay. And so I really want to just work through this together. I'm going to pull up a little chat GPT prompt too. I also don't like when people use AI for crypto that much, but it was just an easy way to demonstrate the long-term effects of a wider range. So I really wanted to break this down today. And I'm going to go ahead and actually get this pulled up. Let me share my screen real quick. I think this should work. Let's see. I believe so. Let me double check. Cool, we're locked. And so, new student, right? He's learning the game, and it's just like, hey man, we opened this pool. It's a super wide conservative range. It's a range that he actually likes and believes in. It's doing 22 to 28%. Now, he sent me a link to a video where it's showing that the APR is maybe about 3 times. So, whereas he's making $700 a month right now off this example, the example he sent me, they were showing $1,800 a month in cash flow. And I'm going to 100% do my best not to show where the video came from because I don't want to discredit anyone doing the great service preaching the message of DeFi and crypto. And I also really respect this person. I think they give a lot of value in this space. But I just want to go over what's actually going on in these ranges. Make sure he's being effective with the pools, etc. Right? Which it's a fair question. He's just getting started. He's like, okay, we set up this range. Why am I doing 28%? And this guy's doing 60%. Like, what's the difference? What's the difference really? And it all comes down to, well, two things. One, it was a different asset in the pool, but number two, the range is completely different. So I want to make sure I can pull this up here correctly. And I think, so first up, I did want to show him too, is that it's saying daily rewards down here of 1,800, but it's actually a monthly of 1,800. So I did want to get that out of the way, but it's a Bitcoin USDC pool. It's doing 63%. And a lot of you guys can probably tell right now, it's only 16% wide. But I went a little further and I dug into it. And so I also have this little snippet right here. This was the range. This is a screenshot of the range. And so it's a little confusing at first, especially if you're new, because the way they have this range set up, it's showing it in the fractions upside down. So it's not the USDC normal pricing of Bitcoin. It's upside down. So it's how much Bitcoin does it take to buy a USDC, right? So it's a little confusing, right? But so I'm just diving into the range, and I was looking here, and I ended up sending this to him. And what I did was recreate this range. So we can see it's 40134, 40158. And so, oh no, stop, get that out of here. Hold on one second. So I wanted to send this to him, right? So I opened this up, and it's 40134, 40158, right? And as you'll notice, currently, as of last night when I sent this to him, that pool is already out of range, which means that it's not making any money. Even though it was making 64%, it's currently not profitable. But what I did was flip it around to the normal numbers for him, right? $63,000 of Bitcoin to 74,000. If you want to play the range in the middle there, that's fantastic. You can do that. It's definitely a short-term position, but for me personally, and what I want for a lot of you guys is to play the long-term game and win for sure. Because now the question they have to ask is, are they going to sit there and do nothing and hold cash? That could be a good scenario. I imagine it's likely Bitcoin comes back into this range and perfect. But really, now they've already sold all of the Bitcoin out of this position. You're holding cash and you're making 0% APR. So now my guy with his wide range is winning. He's in the lead. He's made more appreciation because he had more of his assets in the pool and he's still printing an APR, whereas this pool is dead and out of range. And now in the video, they're borrowing against lent collateral, which I 100% believe in, and I push very, very hard. And that is my goal here for Brian as well, and what he is doing as well. So that collateral will save you from mistakes like that. But getting cashed out in the early 70s in Bitcoin, listen, if you're super bearish right now and you think we're going to like 50K, 45K, okay, that's valid. You cashed out, you took profit on an intermediate pump, like cool, makes sense. But I'm really trying to teach the long-term view in the long game to each and every one of my students. And I want that for you guys here on the channel as well. Okay. So again, great marketing. It's super great for YouTube. I would love to come on here too and be like, hey, make 65% off of your Bitcoin right now. But is that the best thing for your portfolio? It's just not. 65% on a wide range, those APRs will return as the market gets more volume and people that are running tight ranges like this get pushed out of range. We will start to make great APRs again. But right now, we're kind of in the slums. And so when you're tightening the ranges, it's really good marketing for DeFi. Hey, make it 65%, but it's not the best thing for you long term. Cash flow on that position would now be 0%. Awesome. So we got that point across. Okay. If you guys have any questions on that, put that in chat. But if you're playing the long-term game, yes, your collateral's there for you, but you don't want to sacrifice with all these short-term ranges to make an extra like 20%, extra 20% a year, but you get cashed out right away. It doesn't win for you long-term. And I made these mistakes last year in April a lot. ETH was down to like 1450. Bought a lot of ETH as collateral. That tripled, 3x in price. Sold that for a profit. Fantastic. My pool ranges were similar. 16%, 25% wides maybe. It really wasn't wide enough. I didn't get much appreciation off the pools, and I wasn't getting that crazy of a different APR to actually have made it worth it long term to be going that tight. And so I've tried to tweak that for the future, and it's what I do now. I'm running just wider ranges. They're very, very boring, but it's consistent, and I'm going to get lots of appreciation, right? So we were talking about Sui, and we were going on Turbos Finance, right? We were looking at something like this. First off, the auto popped a range. It's 10% wide. This makes no sense to be on long term. 374%, it's fantastic. You'll make no appreciation. You'll get 100% of the downside if Sui swings down. Again, we're trying to think long term prepping this out. So what we did, we went to the charts, right? We both agreed on like a very conservative 80-cent bottom just to keep it very, very clean. So let's go ahead and plug that in here. Just 80 cents, for example. And so I was telling him the tightest I would even consider going is like that 185 to 175 range. So let's just keep it simple and go like 185. And this is option one, 185, doing 50% APR. And so this is super, super exciting, right? This is a good range. It's not terrible, but for me, this is still too tight. For me, I want to go way tight. I mean, sorry, not way tighter. I want to go way wider than this. Where I'm thinking for the tops of my ranges, I'm thinking, where am I okay that I took profit? Where am I okay being out of the market? Because if all my Bitcoin is sold in my pool at $74,000, that's not okay with me. I'm holding that a long term. I need more appreciation off of that. When it comes to Sui at a 185, listen, if you're more of a, I'm not so sure about Sui, I'm happy taking profit at 185, then run this play. Run this play 100%. For me, I'm putting that at least up to $3. I want exposure at least to $3 on pools, and I'm fine holding for 4 to 5 on my collateral. Long-term on Sui, am I married to the bag? Yeah, probably. I didn't take enough profit at the top earlier in the year, and last year is what I mean. But $3 top is my minimum for this. That's what I would probably be doing. 185 is my actual minimum ceiling, but $3 Let's just check what this looks like on the chart. Looking around right here on Turbo, so let's see how that changes the APR. And this is important. It drops it by about 15%. And he's like, ooh, 35%. That's gross. That's not like the 50%, right? Well, this is did I do this right? I just want to make sure. I want to see what all this liquidity is up here. There's a lot of liquidity just left up there. You could even make this case. Let's make this case let's keep it simple. Let's keep it at $3 right now, as that's why I did the ChatGPT prompt with. We'll run the example with a higher one later. And this is where I'm going to show you the superpower of what we're doing, okay? $3 drops the APR by 15%. If you have the ability to go to $3 and the difference in APR is only 15%, you should 100% run that to $3. And I'm going to show you why. It's a ChatGPT prompt, so take it with a grain of salt. I hate how many people outsource all their thinking to AI, but it's going to give us a rough ballpark of what we're looking at and why it's so important. So what I did is I prompted it for $10,000 position, 80 cents to 185 versus 80 cents to $3. In theory, we're using 10K in capital, entering the position at 90 cents. And I also prompted it to give me a benchmark at final price at $3, benchmark at 180. And so here's what's important, guys. Let me find the exact spot I'm looking for real quick. I believe it is right here. So this is important. So this is range A. This is the tight range. At 185, you're fully converted to USDC. Your position stops growing. You're cashed out. You're no longer making fees. And let's say appreciation, best case, you made about your value of 10K is up to 18 or 19K. Okay, that's good appreciation. It's not bad. I definitely would be happy with that. To be honest with you, I think you're going to be earning a little bit less than that in appreciation. Less than that, of course. But let's use ChatGPT's numbers just to keep things simple. Okay. The problem is, outside of fees, you're cashed out at 185. You're missing that move up to $3. Okay. If you have the wider range, you continue selling your SUI into the strength, and the total move is from that 90 cents to $3. So your LP value, the appreciation of the pool, is not going to get stuck at, like, let's say 18K. That's actually going to grow to like $24,000 before fees. This is a big discrepancy. This is about $6,000 in difference. If you want to use the top end of each number, let's just be very generous. Let's say the tight range somehow got you to 19K, right? So about $9,000 in appreciation. And the top end of this one got you to 26K. So 2.5x on that. That's beautiful. That's absolutely amazing. Again, I don't think it'll be that extreme, especially on this one. You'll get a lot more out of this one. The ratio will be even farther. That's about a $6,000 to $7,000 difference. We go back to the APR. Of course, this reset. But let's look. This is very important. Pay attention, please. 80 cents to $1.85, 50% APR. If we stretch that to the $3, it's 35. That's a 15% difference. When I ran this earlier, it was about 30% here and 50% there. So it's about a 20% difference. 20% off of $10,000 is $2,000 a year. Let me fucking hammer this into you guys. You need to pay attention. Get the long-term picture. This is so important. $2,000 a year off the 10K, right? $6,000 difference in appreciation. You have to be in that 185 range for fucking 3 years to make up for the appreciation difference. And this doesn't matter if you have collateral or not. Yes, if you're doing it from a borrowed position, you have collateral, you're going to make 100% raw appreciation over there, of course. But why would you want to shoot yourself in the foot and lose the money on the pool appreciation as well? You can be double dipping, getting truly the best of both worlds. You're only getting 20% more. Listen, if the 185 example was paying 300% and then this one was paying 30%, that's a different story. We're talking about a 20% difference a year, and you're trading away $6,000 minimum appreciation difference. And that's why I'm trying to stress it's so important. That position I showed you with the 30 grand in Bitcoin, 16% wide, it makes no fucking appreciation. You get like 2 to 3%, maybe. In the screenshot, it was halfway through the range, so you're already half USDC. If you're opening this position at 90 cents, and if the downside's 80 cents up to $3, you're fucking long SUI like 95%. Long as fuck. And you're going to get lots of appreciation out of it. And then when you get to the halfway point, you're only halfway sold out of SUI at that 185. Whereas if you're in the tight range at 185, you're clipped out. You're done. It's GG. Have fun watching everyone else print fucking money. And it's why I'm getting so passionate about it, because listen, the dashboards I show you guys, it's not fucking sexy, right? It's not fun to be the guy that comes in here and is like, yeah, make 35%. But you're also not taking into account that 10K you're borrowing is from collateral. So you're going to truly 3, 4, 5x that on SUI lent out. And then you're going to get another 2.5, maybe X off of the pool you're running that's wide, and you're printing APR, which won't always be 35% piece of shit. When the market gets better and there's more volume and everyone gets pushed out of range that's going too tight, you're going to have this bump up to 80, 90, 100, 160. Back in the day, 2 years ago, wide ranges like this, we're printing 360, 500%. Our boy Jesse in there was making $1,000 a day, right? And so hopefully you guys can feel some of the passion coming off of me. I think it's truly so important for you. Like, that's why I'm giving the sauce for free here on YouTube, because there's so much stuff going around and it's great marketing. Guys, I could tell you that this is the best thing in the world. Look, guys, join my course right now. Work with me. You'll make 1,845%. You're going to literally make so much fucking money, but that's not the truth. That's not the real game long term. I want my people to actually win long term and succeed. It's the best thing you can do. And I'm only telling you this because I've made the mistakes. I've made all the mistakes. I've made so much less money than I could have made just running these strategies from the beginning, but I had to learn. I had to make the mistakes. And that's why I'm trying to pass this experience forward. And so hopefully this makes sense. Now, I think it'd be interesting, since we looked at the $3, what I didn't check with the boys on the call was that giant liquidity to the upside. Let's see. Let's check $4 here real quick. There's lots of liquidity up here. Let's take it back to the all-time high. Or let's check. Let's take a peek here. Where do we peak at? 530. Let's catch it. It's a little tighter. Let's catch like this common band right here. Jeez, that door is open so fucking loud. 388. Let's just take it to $4. Let's take it to $4, right? $4, 30%. So it's a 20% difference than doing it at 180. Okay, and let's prompt. Use 0.80 to $4 instead of 0.80 to 3. Let's just have it get sauce again here real quick. So again, the benchmark 180. That 10K is growing to $17,000 to $18,000. Gonna make less fees, but oh wait, no, I need to do final price at $4. I need to change that. Okay, benchmark 90 cents to 180, looking at 17, 18K. To the $4, that 90 is about a 4.4x. Let's see, that original 10K, a 4.44x move. Again, you're getting less than that because you are in a pool and you're selling USDC, but now you're ending with 29 to 32K. So it's all about the long-term game. And this is also still before fees. But again, for a 20% difference a year, 20% difference a year, let's do the math. Let's say 19K. It's just getting more generous each time. Again, AI, take it with a grain of salt. But 19K versus, let's just round it. Let's do 19K versus, 29K, 10K difference. That's 5 years. You have to be in this range for 5. That's a whole fucking cycle. That's a whole Bitcoin halving away over that. You have to be in this 80 cents to 185 for 5 years to accumulate, to bring up the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully that's making sense. I got audio playing. What happened? Something happened. I can't stay for the stream, but want to say thanks for the info you put out. You're a real one. Thank you, Jason. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for your support, as always, man. Hopefully this is clicking, guys. At 20% a year off the 10K, it's $2,000 a year. Again, that's not counting for appreciation. If this appreciates up to 15K, now you're making a little bit more per year. I'm just trying to use basic numbers for you guys to understand. You would have to be in this tight range for 5 years to come up with the appreciation difference. Hopefully that's clicking. Hopefully that's clicking. And this one's still earning. It's still earning money. It's still earning cash, and the APRs will get better. They will get better, guys. So I really just hope this is landing, because it works the same thing for everything. If you're running ETH pools right now, again, stretch it up to where you want to be out of ETH. If you're running Bitcoin, stretch it up. And, if there is the scenario where, again, it's a different conversation if I had this at 180 and it was printing like this. Because then that's different. Because then you do the math to figure out, okay, well, if this one's making me 1% a day, I have to be in this range significantly less time to make up for that difference. And you can use a small pool like this that's cash flowing like crazy to then fund into that longer term play where you'll make a lot of appreciation. But again, 10% is just too fucking tight. It's too tight. It's not going to win for sure long term, which is like the mantra and thesis I try to push for everyone here. So I really hope this makes sense. I'm just trying to maximize some value real quick. I got to go here in a minute. I don't have a lot of time, but I really want to just push that because it was great conversations we were having. And I think it's super, super important because a lot of people probably got pushed out of their range on this move. The freaking video he sent me from a really big guy in the space, which again, I 100% respect. He has lots of value to give, but it's like, that's out of range. And I don't think that's a good thing to be pushing on to people that are trying to learn DeFi because it's not setting them up for long-term success. Thankfully, you're pushing the collateral bags, lending on Aave, right? So you have the Bitcoin over here on Aave. That's going to save you. So even if you fuck up and your range is too tight, you're still going to appreciate your lent core assets that you borrow from. It can save you. It saved me in April because my ranges were too tight. I kept getting pushed out, having to rebalance. But all that Ethereum on the side, 3x. Yo, did you get some random amount of Monad like a week ago? What is it for? Yeah, I think everyone did. VFAT, I think it wasn't giving the off-chain Merkle rewards. Like they weren't able to actually claim them. So I think it was just an issue going on, and then they dispersed those out to where they were supposed to go. So it's the incentivized rewards. So yeah, I think everyone got some. Unless that was a different fucking airdrop I'm not aware of. I think that's what the issue was that we've came to the conclusion on. But yeah, if someone keeps asking me if you can use Monad on Rabby, like through Trezor, I think, and yeah, I've been doing that, by the way. It was working weird on the PC, but it was working fine on mobile, or maybe it was vice versa. I forget. Sorry. I think it was working fine on PC, working weird on mobile with Monad. But Trezor is working for that, by the way. Just remember that question from a while back. Okay, thanks. Yeah, of course, brother. You got it. But again, your collateral will carry you through any mistakes you make, but it doesn't mean you want to make mistakes. You want to set that up for success because we're talking about a big difference between 10K turning into 32K in the pool plus fees versus only turning into 19K, let's say, right? Or like it said previously, like 17K, which is much more likely and probably less than that because it's too tight. And so even if ChatGPT is being generous with this, again, don't outsource all your thinking to ChatGPT, but it's a big discrepancy there. It's a big discrepancy. So I really hope you guys can wrap your head around that. I think it's really important to share. You don't want to cut yourself short. You don't want to be sold out of all your Bitcoin right here. I mean, if you think we're, again, devil's advocate, if you think we're going to like 50K, 45K, and you sold here, well then fine. I mean, you just exited the pump, cool, you made some fees along the way, that's fine. But for me, I'm not worried about if we go here and then back up here because I'm just waiting. Look, investor, this is always in the front of my mind. Long-term investor. Guys, I'm here for the long term. I'm not worried about this day to day. I'm cool getting cash out of my pools at 125. I'm cool being sold to cash, parking that on the side, waiting for the next all-time high, selling some collateral, waiting for the dip. When we come back down to the 80s, 90s next time, or God forbid, back to 70s and 60s, then I'm clipping in full force and I'm rinsing and repeating these long-term ranges, long-term cycles, and just printing money. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. I'm not trying to get cute and give fancy screenshots to everybody where, again, it's like, oh, guys, come join my community where you're going to make 1,800%. That's not realistic. It's not long-term. It's not accurate. It's not accurate. I want everyone to win here long-term. So again, hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have some questions, drop them in chat here down below real quick. I'll give a little value if possible. And again, the link is pinned there as well. 10K Fast Track. If you guys want to work with me, of course, just join that right away. Book a call. See if you're a good fit. Get you started. QR code, I think, is on screen there as well. Scan that. Book a call. Would love to work with you guys and help set you up for success, again, long term, to where you're taking, let's just say, in this situation right here. We're talking about 10K in a pool, right? Assuming that's coming from, let's say conservative, right? So 30K of SUI, right? And you're borrowing 30%, that's 10K. The 10K you borrowed becomes 32K. The 30K you had going to $4 SUI, let's just keep it simple, as a 4X, it's $120,000 plus this $152,000 plus fees. So you just turned 30 grand into $152,000 in a couple months, couple years. Depends on how long it takes SUI to get back to $4. And that's the power I'm trying to give you. Or that collateral you had, if you had 30K in SUI right now, goes to 120, holding that 4X. Is that the right math? 30K times 4? I want to make sure I'm not fucking retarded real quick. Yep, 120K. And you invented the 10K you put in pools by borrowing, and that turns into 32. So plus 32. And let's just say this takes a year to play out, and you were making you were making 30%. Let's go off of just mid-range. Let's say 30% times, it was 10K working. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not even that sexy. What's sexy is that you just invented money and threw that all in. You got massive amounts of appreciation. The 30% is not sexy, but it's extra cash flow and you stack more assets. So if it takes a year to play out, if it takes 2 years to play out, you're just stacking 30% a year on top of this. So it's beautiful. Best crypto advice on YouTube, hands down. Nobody else is doing it like this. Hey, man, I'm just spitting the game the way I see it because I've made a lot of mistakes, man. You know, and if you end the game with 152K, oops, 152, and you just wait for a dip, you're holding 152 on the side, you're lending that out of stable coins. Let's say you're making 6% on stable coins off that. Cool, you're making $9,000 a year in cash flow while you're waiting for a dip. And then you hit the dip, so you have about 160K. You take that 160K, and let's say Bitcoin goes back down to 70 grand again, and then you can buy over 2 Bitcoin, borrow against it, run more strats, and just keep freaking, like, that's how the game becomes infinite. It just becomes infinite, guys. Probably a stupid question. I'm learning this DeFi world. Do you need to buy 2 assets in order to get into a pool like USDC and SUI, ETH, and BNB? Yeah, so the way DeFi pools work is you're providing 2 assets to be swapped between. So the way I prefer to teach this is that you start off, you're buying the one asset you believe in. So let's just go back to the beginning and say it's Bitcoin. You're buying some Bitcoin, you're lending that out as collateral. Got some Coinbase wrap Bitcoin here, some wrap Bitcoin here. It's collateral, cool, don't make any money off that. But what I'm doing is that I'm borrowing debt against it. So I pay 4% a year for this, and I use that to create new money. And then I open my DeFi positions with that. And so right now, yields are low. Maybe you're making 20%, 30%, 40%, whatever. It's not very sexy right now. But then you open that into a position with the 2 assets. So for like the example we were showing, just happens to be SUI. So it'd be SUI and USDC, for example. And a super freaking wide range, which is not sexy. You're making 30%. You're making 3% a month off SUI exposure. That's fantastic. And you now get all your Bitcoin appreciation and your SUI appreciation. I would be careful borrowing against Bitcoin and throwing into SUI. I always like to recommend that if you are borrowing against assets, the pools that you run should be about the same risk tolerance or safer. So if you're borrowing against ETH, throw that in ETH pools or Bitcoin pools. If you're borrowing against Solana, you do Solana pools, BNB pools, Ethereum pools, Bitcoin pools. If you're borrowing against SUI, which, guys, it is way down here, you know, I wouldn't go any farther down from SUI if you're using borrowed capital, but you could put it in something safer if you like, especially if it's paying better as well. So just be very, very careful. Don't borrow against your Bitcoin and then just flick down the market cap list and use your borrowed Bitcoin to run, I don't even know, let me just pick something. Don't throw it all in a Filecoin pool, guys. Don't throw it all in a render pool, guys. You're borrowing from your Bitcoin. You want to make sure you respect that Bitcoin and use its capital efficiently. And if you use a tool like VFAT, it will split your single token into USDC into the 2 tokens you need for your position, put them in a correct ratio. Yes, it's very true. It just is important to understand that VFAT, like you're able to like just buy ETH and enter an ETH USDC pool. It's just important to know that it is divvying that up on the back end. So you're going to have a ratio of the 2. And when you leave your range, you will only have one of them left. If you leave the upside, you're only going to have USDC left. If price appreciates, you get cashed out in USDC. If price falls, you get cashed in to Ethereum. So it's just important to actually understand what is happening in the background. That way it's not like, oh, surprise, like, why am I not making money? Well, it's because you're in cash. You don't have any ETH left. So it's just very, very important to understand. And the more you understand that composition, the more the wide ranges really, really start to make sense. And so I think I have a couple videos on here too that I like. Let me see. This one's probably pretty good. The danger of high APR pools. Where's the one I'm thinking of in my head where I have this little guy again? I know this one is probably good. I wonder if it's a crazy thumbnail, but it's actually one of these. Let me just click in real quick. Does it have? No, it does not. Because I'll throw it in chat if I see it. The fucking music video. That's so funny. This right here, Impermanent Loss. This one's a pretty good one, right? So it's got little Timmy there in his stand. It's a good explanation of like what's going on in the pool and what impermanent loss is and why the lending is so powerful, and also why, because of impermanent loss, you shouldn't go tight. You should not go tight. So I'll throw this link in chat if you want to watch this one. Definitely a fun one to watch. Hopefully it clears some stuff up too. But yeah, you can enter with one on a lot of protocols. They make it really easy nowadays. The learning curve is much easier, but just keep in mind, it is 2 tokens paired and there is that relationship. And based on where that price action is together is your range, essentially. So hopefully that makes sense. You're becoming a DEX, you're becoming a market maker, you're providing liquidity. So it only makes sense that, again, if you're running that store and people can buy Ethereum from you or sell Ethereum to you for USDC, it only makes sense. If ETH is tanking in price, that fundamentally means everyone is selling ETH. And since you are the store selling ETH and everyone's selling it to you, you're giving them all your cash. You're paying them out and you're having the assets. You're a store, right? If ETH is ripping to the upside, fundamentally that means everyone is buying. It's pushing the price up. So if you're the store, your supply on ETH is going to get low, but you're going to get cash heavy because everyone's paying you. Everyone's paying you for your Ethereum. So you're getting full of cash, right? And then it leaves your range. So that's at its core, in an easy, simplified way, just how it's working. You're the store. You're running the market. You're the market maker. So hopefully that makes sense, boys. I got to bounce here in just a second. I'll see if a question pops up here real quick. I just really wanted to get this out. I think it's very, very important, especially with the way the market just ripped up to the upside a little bit, which, by the way, is a small move for crypto, even though it was like how many percent? Let's just check Bitcoin. This is a small move for crypto, but let's just talk about, what do I want right here? Oh, I'm actually stupid. Oh no. Oh no. We're fucked. We're fucked. It won't go away. It won't go away. Get rid of that shit. You can tell I don't fucking use TradingView ever. I'm not a trader. Long-term investor. Dude, what is wrong with my tools? Bro, I look actually retarded. What is it that I want? No, not this. Where's just my price? Is it this? They changed the symbol? They changed the fucking symbol on me. Or I'm just actually retarded, guys. I'm so sorry. 24% move from the bottom here. So, I mean, it's a big move, don't get me wrong, but for crypto, this is nothing, right? When we're talking about the potential for, 85%, 86%. It's a very, very small move. So if you got pushed out, it just means you're too tight. You're not prepped for the long term. Long term, you need to be careful and be set up for success, guys. If this pushed you out of range on multiple pools, you're way too tight. Reevaluate your situation and just think about where the market's going to go. Because if you got pushed out here, you now have to make the decision of, okay, now what? I'm in all cash or in all one asset. Now where am I putting it? Am I having to buy Bitcoin at a higher price than I just sold it at $77,000, $75,000? You have to make those decisions. And you don't, if you're in this situation now, it's often worth waiting 24, 48 hours to see if it retraces. And then you can widen your range. It's going to be a little better for you, more beneficial. But what you don't want to do is go tight range to tight range to tight range to tight range, chasing it all the way up. Because what's happening is you're getting no appreciation, barely anything out of the pool. And then once we get to here, and you do it again at 120, let me get this right here. like 122. Let's say we're back at 122. If you had done it like I did, where I made some mistakes, small range, small range, small range, small range, and you're open at 120K, let's say, and then you nuke down to 60, you're catching fucking a 50% loss, boys, and you made no appreciation on the way up. You rinsed yourself. You made a little appreciation, and you're making fees, so it's going to help offset. But this is where you get fucked, because you're not making anything to the upside, and you're losing a lot to the downside. So the other video you guys should watch, if possible, would be, pretty sure it's this one, the danger of high APR pools. It should be talking about tight ranges as well. I'll go rewatch it as well, just make sure it's talking about what I think it's talking about. I might have a different video on tight ranges. I'll have to poke through. I have too much fucking content, boys. It's too many fucking videos. But this is a good one to watch too. Paste it in chat. Bookmark that for later. Watch it. Very, very valuable. And just set yourself up, guys, to win for sure. Don't leave yourself questioning at 75K Bitcoin. What do I do now? That should be easy. We're holding. We're holding, baby. So, guys, again, you want to work with me, scan the QR code, book a call with me. Let's see if you're a good fit. Would love to work with you, help you set up your portfolio to do the best thing possible. I'm a few minutes behind, but for ETH pool, what do you consider? I've got a 40% wide range at 50%, but listen, you think about going wider. Bro, mine's like 97% wide right now. I checked earlier. So it's like up to 4K, and I have one wider than that. Again, it comes down to where are you okay taking profit, and what really is the APR difference between the tighter one and that one. If you're talking about a 5% a year APR difference, a 10%, we just went over that example, which you can rewind the live stream here at the end and watch this. But for something like SUI, a lot of appreciation potential, so it's a little bit different. But for a 20% APR difference, you're getting $10,000 more in appreciation just going wide. So it just makes so much more sense to take the appreciation play, because you'd spend 5 years in this tight range if it stayed to make that appreciation difference, which we know crypto, when it rips, it's just going to fucking rip, boys. So I like wider. It depends on what you believe. I'm not going to tell you stretch your ETH range to 4K if you don't think it's going to go there. Find where you're okay taking profit, exiting the market, and plan accordingly. And if you do exit at 3K, if you do exit at 3,500, don't fucking FOMO and rebalance up to 4K, 4,500, 5K. Be done with it. Wait for crypto to pull back, because guys, it always does. And then we all get stuck holding it, and you don't want that to be you. You don't want to get freaking rinsed. So when you're out, just be out. You have your collateral working for you on the side, so that's still going to catch any extra moves, and you can take profit on that accordingly too, with your systems that you've built or you've built with me, and set yourself up for success. And lend cash, lend gold, wait for a dip, rinse, repeat. Boys, it's been a good one. I have to go. Drop any questions you have in the chat, on the channel, other videos. I will get back to them, answer you with voice memos and whatnot. If you want to work with me directly, of course, scan the QR code, click the pin link, work with me, 24/7 access where we get the setup. And again, you would have been on our group call earlier. It was like a 2.5-hour call, but lots of value, super fantastic. And it's what we're talking about here. And I just felt like I had to share this with everyone, because I really don't want people to get screwed long-term and then have no money left in the game. So win for sure, boys. Keep that mentality. Set yourself up for long-term